think what I'm going to try and do today is something I haven't done before. I want to try and go through something that I've written and dive into all the different tracks and effects and why I made the choices that I did. I haven't done this sort of video before. It may be a little bumpy. I think I'm going to start with the song Hotshot Racing main theme from the game Hotshot Racing, which I worked on in 2019, which is 5 years ago as of right now. That was made with Curve Digital as a publisher, and Lucky Mountain Games, and Sumo Nottingham, which is where I work as a project audio director and composer, as well as doing composing for other things as well. It was a really awesome project. It was just kind of a dream project. It just worked from beginning to end. The game was fun. It reviewed pretty well. People enjoyed it. And just making this kind of music that takes me back to the first games I loved, like Outrun and Last Ninja and stuff like that on my Commodore 64, and games in the arcade when I was a kid in the early 80s. I was so excited to get to contribute to it. So this main theme, I went through a few iterations. This is where I landed. The first versions that I tried of this were a lot more complicated. And I think that's kind of why I want to show you guys this song today, because this is probably one of the least complicated commercial tracks I've ever written. It's got, I don't know, not that many tracks, like 15 tracks or something like that. So I'll play the full track at the end of the video just so you can have a listen and then maybe skip back and have a think about how it's made. Some things I think that are good takeaways from this are to have confidence in your music. I don't layer things up too much if it's not needed. It's something I've done for my entire career as a musician. If I don't feel like something's working, I just throw shit at it. I just add layers and layers of stuff. Sometimes just falling back on really easy, lazy things that I know are okay. And I just kind of hide the music under more music, which is ridiculous. So if you've got strong ideas, then hopefully you're not going to need to do that. And I think this was, for me, this was a moment where for once I didn't actually pile a load of extra stuff on it. It's really bare bones song. So let's do it. Let's give it a go. Okay, right. So here's the track. We've got, so I've had to open this track up after 5 years. And if you compose music and you have a tendency to be not brilliant at maintaining software and stuff like that, you'll know that opening an old track can be mayhem. Fortunately, I was fairly sensible and stemmed the music at the time, so I did have all the audio to work with. But instead of just loading up the stems, I thought it'd be nicer if I could bring in the actual original music project and we can go through it in some depth. So yeah, you'll see there's some audio tracks here, but also a lot of the original VSD instruments as well. If I load up there, you see we've got a mini, a Massive, which is weird. I don't use Massive a lot. CS80, which I do use a lot. The CSZ, those are from Arturia, more Massive, and yeah, you'll see. There's a range of stuff here. We'll go through it. So it looks like I started the track with drums because drums were originally at the top. This was a battery track originally, but I seem to have lost the original version of it. So this is just the stem brought in. It's a pretty simple bit of... Got a fairly decent chunky kick, and then it just comes in with a bit of sort of slightly shuffly 8-beat percussion. The percussion for the song overall is pretty much like this. It's all driven around a really heavy 4-beat. So on top of that, which that doesn't, again, simple song, does pretty much nothing else for the duration of the song. So you can see that it's just kicks after this point here. Then we got this snappy kick. I think I originally had like a sub bass plugin on this, but I've lost it in the course of time. So I've added in, I can never say it, Sheps. Shep's Parallel Particles, which is a really, really nice plugin. I use this a lot, this plugin. It's just, it's one of those just make it better things. It just does a lot of good to individual tracks or the master bus without sounding cheap, which is, I just love it. Anyway, sorry, you've heard enough of that kick. All right. Then I've just got some cheeky little loop of some cymbals from Sennheiser. Sennheiser do really nice stuff. I'm not generally a fan of using pre-made loops and things like that, but their content is just really good. I bought a like a 80s loop of like 80s percussion, as in like proper 80s, not in synthwave. Years ago, and I was just really impressed with the transparency and the quality of it, because a lot of these sort of pre-made loop packs, they're just so chunky and overproduced already. There's just no room for them to breathe. So here we've got just a bit of extra percussion. I can't remember anything fun's happening on that. No, that's pretty much dry. It's just low in the mix, just sits with these together. Pretty straightforward percussion programming. Then the last element is just some little sweep ups and downs, just some noise sweeps, and that's like literally it for percussion. Alright, so let's get into the meat of it. So on top of the percussion-y bits, let's start with this. I think this is working? Yeah. I think this was a Monarch. Let's have a look. Oh no, this is the Arturia Mini, which used to be one of my go-tos for that Moogie bass sound. I'm a huge fan of Moog. I know you can say Moog. I just like to say Moog. I'm a huge fan of their stuff generally. I've now got myself a Moog sub, and recently got their oh, now I'm in trouble. Moogafuga or Mogafoga plugin set, which is for the first time they've done like a virtual set of their famous, awesome effects pedals. Anyway, yeah, so simple pedal line, nothing crazy. What is happening here, though, which features on a lot of tracks on this, is get it open. Drowning in Windows. So there's a million ways you can do side chaining. So side chaining is where like the levels of one instrument affects another, and you get a very sort of famous pumping kind of sound that you hear in a lot of pop music and stuff. And for really chunky tracks, it can be a really good solution to keeping everything feeling as big and powerful as everything else. You can do it with loads of different clever ways, but I had this cute little plugin called Kickstart, which I've just had to upgrade to Kickstart 2 to show you guys. $5 that cost me, so hope you're happy. Like and subscribe. So this is all this does is it just, look, you can just see this is over, that's where a kick would be, and then it just drops it and then brings it back in again. Very simple. But what it does, if I play this along with the kick so you can hear what I mean, if I bypass this, it sounds fine. But what happens is, with this plugin, it drops it at the beginning of the kick. If I put that on more, or even more, raise that. I mean, most music producers know about this now. It's a pretty simple trick, but it just makes things feel nice and chunky. All right. Then what we've got here. So this is the first of our Commodore bits and bobs. I've got loads of Commodore stuff. I don't know why in particular I was using Massive to play all these Commodore sounds, but is it just Massive? Yeah, so these are just patches from Massive. Massive's fine, but just to my taste, I prefer for that kind of stuff, Pigments from Arturia, just because I'm a huge Arturia fan and I'm kind of used to the style of their software. But yeah, so this is, let's see what we got for plugins. This is just a Commodore lead sound. I guess I can just play it, can't I? No, I can't for some reason. Okay, well, never mind then. Let me just run a little bit of it. Oh, it's probably because I had a filter on. Let's wait for the filter to come back up. In fact, oh yeah, there we can see the filter there. So yeah, if I play it now, just a nice little Commodore sound. So a few plugins of importance on this one. We've got Crystallizer, which is a very nice plugin from the ever awesome Sound Toys. This one just makes things crystally. It's a delay, I guess. I don't really know what I would call it. I suppose it's a delay. Well, it says it right there. Granular echo synthesizer. So yeah, I guess it's just doing granular stuff, and then it kind of just, you can set it to sort of move with the sound. If I bypass it and run. So that's without it, and this is with it. You get that lovely sort of brittle, crystally echo on it, which is really cool. Decapitator, I think, is also on this. Is that right? Yes, it is. Decapitator's just a nice chunky distortion. You can use it as more of a saturator with a subtle drive effect, which is what's happening here. It's on the punish mode, but it's on really low settings, so it's just adding a little bit of heft to the sound. And finally, this is something I use all the time. This is Filter Mini, which is an Arturia filter, which I guess is like a Moogie kind of feeling filter. All I do is I will, this happens on like so many of my tracks, I'll just set to right automation, and then I'll just move the cutoff frequency a little bit, and then I'll just design myself filter sweeps up and down of a low pass filter throughout it. It's a really nice sort of vintage sounding low pass filter, and so you'll hear how it filters up here, how it's nice and sexy. In fact, I'll move this back here, you can see it moving, so the dial moving. Yeah, love it, use that all the time, big fan. It's another Commodore massive-y thing. This just sounds like it's just got some delay on it. Yeah, just a regular, this is replica delay, and RC24 reverb, which again, that's something else I'm a huge fan of. It's by Native Instruments. Let's open it over here so you can have a look. This is RC24. This is my most used overall reverb. It's just like a little afterthought reverb where it comes in their bundles and stuff, but it's so musical and so pretty. Listen to how it sounds without it. It's fine, but it's so pretty, and it's got such colour in it and such musicality. I love it. All right, onwards. What we got here then? Don't even know what this one is. Something chunky. Oh, it's massive again. Wow, really into massive for this song. So weird. Nothing too crazy here. This is just supporting the Commodore bits and making them a bit more chunky. Alright, so now we're getting into more of like the ethereal. Oh no, got an ARP. So is this actually CS80? Yeah, nothing too crazy there. That's just me playing a little arpeggio on a CS80. CS80 is another software version by Arturia. The original CS80 was the one made famous by Vangelis for Blade Runner and all that kind of stuff. It's just a fucking awesome synth, excuse my language. I love it, and I use it whenever I can. Here we got a Monarch, which is kind of a Moog clone. That's just supporting the bass line from above. Sorry, this isn't massively organized, so some of these tracks aren't really grouped very well or anything. This is a CZ, which is it's another lovely Arturia one. Sounds a lot like it's got Crystallizer on to me. Yep, it does. So again, like, if we drop out Crystallizer, sounds lovely. It's a cool sounding synth, but it's just so awesome. It's just so fresh and crunchy. I love it. And I really wanted this song to be as crunchy and cool. CS80 pad. So this is just, and I think this sounds like it had some kind of shimmery stuff going on. Got RC24, an auto pan, got a chopper, which is giving it that. See, between the kickstart, which I showed you already, and the chopper, without it, it's nice. It's just taking up too much room. So chopper is just a little, just does this, just drops it out for half of the beat. Like a tremolator. There we go. So when it shimmers like that, it just takes up half the room. It just kind of becomes more transparent. So it's a lot nicer. Pretty straightforward. This is a pad played on a Jupiter, again from Arturia. Sounds like it's got a flanger on it, but this is an audio version of it because I've lost the original. But yeah, it sounds like it's just got a straight flanger. Okay, and another Jupiter. Like I knew that like Jupiters, things like that would be go-tos for this track because they're just classic bright synths. Just sound happy, like the game was a very happy game. Same kind of thing. Sounds like we got like maybe tremolator or a chopper or something else. And then last thing, like this is a late edition, and it was just kind of a Hail Mary thing, seeing if there's any last element I wanted to add to it. And this was Electric Sunburst by Native Instruments, which is one of their sort of guitar rhythm tools that you can get as part of like Complete and stuff like that. And you can just run different rhythms, and you just use key switches to change which rhythm's playing. So I just I did this, and I think I chucked in some extra distortion and a bit of widening tools and stuff like that. But it's just really nice, like cheesy, happy 90s thrash vibe. Kind of makes me think of like Tony Hawk's and stuff like that, which also, I mean, is later than the original Outrun and Last Ninja references, but it's all like happy video game memory stuff. So that sounds like this. It's got these like fun little harmonics here and there as well. Where is it? Little harmonics. It's probably because I grew up in the 90s listening to like thrash and stuff, but I just love those cheeky, ridiculous little pinch harmonic sounds. And that's it. That's the whole song. Let's just have a quick look at the mixer, see if there's any master bus stuff you need to know about. Look, I mean, I haven't got many songs that got this few tracks and don't suck, because I'm really happy with this song, just genuinely like it, and this is it. It's the whole song. It's crazy. It's one of the littlest songs I've ever made. I've got everything going through a gain stage. This is just a really simple tool just to keep track of volume. So all of these other tracks, they just run into this one gain track here, which I just jockey up and down. Sometimes I'll do stuff at this point if it makes sense. For a track this basic, just wasn't needed. So, and then that goes to the stereo out master bus. So for that, we got the parallel particles again, which, like I said, I do this a lot. I've made myself Tregenza mixed juice because I'm a nerd, and so this is just like a dinky little bit of each of its four things. Just add some air, add some bass, add some bite, add some thickness. I think it was originally like the guys that made God of War, the video game, they were talking about this plugin. I think that's where I heard about it. That rings a bell somewhere in the back of my brain. But wherever I heard about it, I bought it immediately from Waves, who are really cool. Obviously, everyone knows Waves. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it. When you use subtly, it's just really good way to add a little bit of juice. Oxford Inflator, same thing. It's an old school tool. It's a big fan of orchestral mixes, ones that I've worked with in the past. I always see them reaching for this and just adding this little inflator magic, like secret sauce stuff here. God knows what it does. It just makes things sound a bit better. And finally, Pro L from FabFilter. FabFilter are a phenomenal company. Everything they do is incredibly high quality. And this is just a bit of mix control. I've just got it on just a basic limiting, and I've got -2 true peak, just so that when I mix out it, I mean, with the gain staging here, it shouldn't be like mega loud anyway. It's fairly controlled, but it's just a bit of last minute control to make sure it's easier to do my final mastering in, which I tend to do in RX from Isotope for my last detailing and cleaning up and stuff like that. And that's it. That's the whole song. That's it. So I hope this was interesting and useful to you. I'll do deep dives on some more complicated songs and just songs from different games I've worked on, like I guess Cyberpunk and Deathloop, and Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that over time. But I just thought this is a really nice, fun place to start, because it's a very controlled, simple track, and just try and remember that. It's a lesson that I need to remember myself as well. Just, you don't always need a million billion tracks in your song. Sometimes it works with just some, like this. So there we go. I will now play the full song, and I'll be back again to do more of these. And please do like and subscribe. I'm trying to start getting a bit more content on my YouTube channel. And if you've got any questions about the song, or things that I did, or techniques, or want to discuss with other people, get in the comments and do so, and I'll reply to everyone and answer everything as best I can. So thanks for your time, and catch you later.